You're rocking with some of the realest coaches in the game. Coach RB and Coach CB. Area code 459.
Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to Area Code 459 Podcast. It's your boy, Coach RB. I'm here with my co-host, Coach CB. What's up, Caitlin?
What's up, Coach? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing well. We're going to go ahead and have Caitlin go ahead and thank some people for us. Go ahead, Caitlin.
We just want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors, East Bay, In-House Ink, J-Made Crafts. They've all done a great job in helping us get our logo and our brand marketable, and we're happy and excited to get this thing off the ground. And most importantly, we want to thank all of the people that have been behind us, our family, our friends, and then God at the top of the list. So thank you guys for everything that you've done to help us create Area Code 459.
Man, I'm so excited, man. We got our topic Tuesday today. We're talking about time management and focus on the uncontrollable. But before we can do that, or focus on the controllable, before we can do that, I got to introduce our guests. Man, first I'm going to introduce my guy, Manny Bloom. He's one of my mentors, current head coach of cross country and boys basketball at Gulliver Academy in Miami, Florida. He has 20 years of experience as a head coach in Florida, most notable Gulliver Prep Academy down in Miami. Worked and ran 5-star basketball camps in the USA and internationally in the UK and Australia. Over 20 years of teaching experience and helped numerous students earn basketball academic scholarships, multiple Coach of the Year awards, multiple district titles, 3 regional finals appearances, enjoys teaching and speaking at coaching clinics around the U.S. and internationally. But most of all, he's a man who places his family above all. He's a loving husband and a revered father of 2. What's up, Manny Bloom?
Hey, what's going on, Coach Brett?
Man, what's up, man? And then our second guest, man, is another dear friend of mine. Man, we were known as the Bert and Ernie of the AAU circuit, Mr. Kyle Gilreath. He is the head basketball coach at Arsenal High School in Titusville, Florida, where he has been successful and has been selected FACA Coach of the Year twice. Kyle began his coaching career at the University of Florida, where he served under Oklahoma City Thunder coach Billy Donovan. That staff won 2 NCAA national tournaments and 3 SEC championships. He's also the director of digital media and skills coach for the world's premier basketball training company led by Drew Hanlon, Pure Sweat, alongside all the great things he has done. Most importantly, Kyle is indeed one of the top family men I know, loving husband and endeared father of 3 children. What's up, Kyle?
What's up, Robert?
What's up, man? Well, I'm glad to have both of you guys, man. I'm super excited, super pumped to hear about our episode. But before we get started, man, let Caitlin go ahead and introduce what we're talking about today. Go ahead, Caitlin.
Today our topic is Topic Tuesday, and we're talking about preparing to win. And whenever Coach B and I talk about these episodes and what we want to discuss and break down, when you think about preparing to win, one of the most important things that we think about is time management. And then on top of that, time management always comes with being able to control what you can control. So we figured those are the 2 key points that we really wanted to hit home when it comes to preparing to win. So, Coach, both of you guys can answer this question, but in life, what are some of the things you have had to let go of trying to control and why?
Go ahead, Kyle.
I would say from a time standpoint, trying to control other people's time. I don't know. I mean, I just think for me, like in terms of the whole time management thing, I don't try to control other people's time. I just value my time. So we'll probably discuss this later on, but pretty much I try to create a schedule, when we're not in the middle of a pandemic still to this day, I get about 4:35 every day, and I work until I have to go to school. And basically how my schedule flows is based on my school and season calendar. But, in terms of the time management stuff, really that's one thing that I value, that everyone should value the most, because now that I have 3 kids at home, anytime I walk outside my door, I've kind of learned this from one of my mentors, Rich Shazlowski with Pure Sweat, is like, if you're walking outside your door and you're not doing anything to either make money for your family or benefit yourself professionally or personally, like, why are you leaving? Because I'm taking up time for my family to help serve others. And that's something I've been kind of struggling with the last couple of years, as my kids get older, is, just trying to figure out the best way to balance my time with my career, my dream aspirations, and my family. I don't know if that really answers your question, but that's kind of how I view, invest in myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. Go ahead, Manny.
So, I think when you talk about, control, being controllable and uncontrollable, one of the things that I've definitely thought over the years is dealing with certain people. You obviously can't control what other people do. You can't control what other people think. You can try to convince people of things, but that to me is uncontrollable when you're dealing with, and in our profession as coaches, we're always dealing with other people. So when you're dealing with the uncontrollable, how much energy are you going to waste trying to convince people and control people, as opposed to just trying to push your belief on the whole group and then see who kind of comes along for the ride? And like the example I use, administration, you sometimes you got to let that go. Like, you can't change who your administration is. You got to kind of roll with the punches of an athletic director or a principal. Same thing with parents. How much energy are you going to devote to people that may or may never be on your side? And if they are, great, and use that energy to go with you. And if they're not on your side, how much energy are you going to devote to that and make it negative and suck the life out of you? And then as Coach was saying, using your whole day. I'm a big believer. I work out early. I work out late. I try to extend my whole day so that I have time for my family and everything. And I know we're going to get into time management later. But the uncontrollable is, I think, what sucks. So many people focus on what they can't control, and it uses so much of their time and energy. And I think that's where people get deflated in the coaching profession, the teaching profession, and any profession, because they spend so much time on what they can't have any control over.
Right.
Yeah,
Man.
and I think
Go ahead.
just kind of piggyback off that, when my whole basically life, like playing high school, and then getting back into college on at Fort Myers, we always had, the 15-minute rule where, if practice starts at 9 in the morning, you better be dressed, tape ready to go at 8:45, like on the court, ready to rock and roll. And I would say this year I kind of changed that to be like, 10 minutes, just in the standpoint of, again, I remember reference, one of my mentors, Rich, he kind of said, like, practice starts at 9, like, they just need to be ready to go by 9. I mean, like, especially with high school kids and parents, I've kind of, I don't want to say I've gotten soft as I've gotten a little wiser and a longer beard, but, I think, like, for me, some stuff happens, like kids are kids, you obviously won't teach them to be on time, but I think this year it's kind of like, hey, be here, at 10 minutes, you need to be on the court working out. So it became more of a, like, I want you to use your time wisely outside of this. And then, on top of that, like my first year at astronaut, I kicked 4 kids off the team because they were late every day. Like they were late like 4 or 5 times. Like, all right, man, cool. Like you're done. And that kind of, I don't want to control people and from that standpoint, but it kind of got the attention of my younger players where, like, they knew, like, if they were late, they either lied to me and told me they were sick and didn't come to practice, or they just, like, manned up and, they did what they had to do because they're late. So that's one thing I would say, like, I've kind of pulled back on my control, is not requiring so much just like military style discipline with time management with my players.
Right. What I like about both of you guys, and both of you guys are, I've worked with both of you guys. I actually worked under both of you guys, and you're both skilled guys. And I really like what you just said, Kyle, how you said, basically what I wanted to do was, instead of saying, hey, you're wasting my time at 15 minutes, I want you on the court at 10 minutes using your time, meaning trying to make something valuable out of it. You should be out there warming up, or you should be getting shots up, or you should be doing something skill related to value your time. So you kind of taught them a lesson, even though you felt maybe you got soft a little bit. You kind of taught them a lesson like, yo, your time is valuable. Don't come in my drill and miss shots and say, hey, I'm missing shots because I'm not warmed up yet. Well, you had that 10-minute grace period or 15-minute grace period where you could have got ready to make shots. And like I said, I work with both you guys, and you guys are both phenomenal trainers. What is the biggest component, would you say, to time management? And what does this time management structure look like for you?
Oh,
So,
Manny, take this one first.
Okay. So with time management, I'm a type A guy. Like I'm everything's to the minute. So when I speak at clinics, especially internationally, I'm so surprised when coaches, like, they'll see my practice schedule, my workout schedule, and they're like, wow, it's so detailed. And I'm amazed. And even going into some college practices, some of them are great. They're real detailed. Like Jim Larinaga at UM, very basic practice plan. And not to say he's one of the greatest coaches in the game. But I've always felt planning is the biggest part of time management. And if you don't plan ahead and you don't have a structure of what you have in your mind, there's no way you're going to get a group of people to buy into what you're doing. And whether you put that on paper or you have a different system, you put it on a whiteboard. We send out a practice schedule by 9 a.m. every morning before that day's practice, which could be at 4 or 6 p.m. The players get it in a text. They can evaluate the practice plan. They know exactly what's going on. They know what team, what color. So when you talk about the structure of preparing your team for success, we're not only preparing for the game to win, we're preparing for the success of that individual practice. So, and that goes the same for a workout. If you see one of my summer workouts or a college coach is coming in, so when a college coach comes in, there's a folder. It's got all our players broken down with their strengths, their weaknesses, height, grades, GPA, transcripts. It's got the schedule for the day, what drills we're doing, what team they're on, what number they are. And I'll have coaches come in that'll be like, oh my God, I just went to an open gym before this and I asked the coach and they didn't know the kid's full name. Like, so talk about being organized in today's day and age, Yeah. So I think planning is the biggest component for me, because I think it sets you up for success. And I think that's comes from the business world, right? It comes straight from a Fortune 500 CEO that says, look, this is all going to be planned out. We don't make billions of dollars on winging it,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I would say same as me. I mean, for my season, I mean, like my athletic director, like everyone in my school thinks I'm like kind of OCD. I mean, on like probably usually about this time of the year, I've got my entire fall schedule of like when we're working out, what time we're working out, who's working out, and then probably let's say the first day of practice is November 1st. By September 1st, I've got the 4-month practice schedule, like every single day. Freshman, JV, varsity, like practice times, and I send it in. They're like, that's just how I am. I want to know, like, hey, on February 14th or whatever, like, I want to know what are we doing. Obviously, for me, for my staff, for my players, for my parents, so they understand, like, when's practice, and I just send them, like, I create a website for our team, astronauthoops.com, and some kid says, hey, when's practice? I just send them the link because eventually they'll stop texting me and just go to the website. So I would say that's probably the biggest thing for me as far as like structure. I read Rick Pitino's book, The One Day Contract. I don't know if you guys have read it or not. It was pretty good. I actually tried that where, when you get down with work today and you write down like what you have to do tomorrow, and there's it's a big list. And I did it for a while, and with kids, it can become frustrating because you got all the stuff you want to get done, and then it's like they want to go outside and ride bikes in the middle of the summer, and you like it's 100 degrees outside, so you gotta kind of do that. But what I've kind of started doing like post-it notes. So instead of doing a one-day contract, I'll do like a post-it note with little like squares, and I've got one on my desk right here. And basically, like I've got 10 things to knock out, whether it's today, it's tomorrow, and once I do it, I just check it off and I move on. So that's kind of my at-home COVID pandemic structure of organization of just post-it notes all over my desk.
Right. Well, like I said, I work for both of you guys, so I already know like how detail-oriented you guys are. Go ahead, Caitlin.
Yeah, and I know like sometimes in life, and even more so in a game, you take all the time in the world to prepare, to watch film, to scout, to have practices set up to make you guys feel extremely prepared. So on game night, when the lights turn on, you feel confident that you can come in and win the game. But sometimes no matter how much you prepare, you always can come in and take a loss, sometimes a big loss. So how do you stay confident with your process and not allow the end result to change how you prepare?
You went out. You got to say that one more time.
I have to say it one more time.
Just the ending.
Just the last like 5 seconds.
Like sometimes you take big losses. So how do you stay confident with your process and not allow those end results to change how you prepare to be successful?
I think you just gotta. I mean, I just trust that my dad does a lot of film for me from the coaching standpoint, and we pretty much every morning during our season we talk about what's needed to prepare our players for the opponent. We give them all the information that we think they need, and it's not too much stuff. And just kind of going to games, listen, like we prepared the best we could. We're just going to, the players got to play. So, one thing I've kind of gone to is, Manny's has had a lot more talent down his way, but, up my way, we've kind of figured out there's two types of players. And this is like thing I'm on right now is you have basketball players and you have kids who enjoy playing basketball. It's a big difference. So, if you're basketball players who are in the gym working out and getting better, obviously, if they have a bad game, it's because they just had a bad game. For your kids who just enjoy playing basketball, if they had a bad game, it's just because they don't work on their game. And, so I had a player, I think this year was like, Coach, why can't I make more free throws? And I said, when's the last time you came in the gym, worked on free throws? He's like, never. I said, well, until you do that, you're not going to make free throws. And I've kind of come to the point of if kids don't want to come in, I'm not going to be pissed off and mad when they don't want to come in because they just don't want to come in. So if we lose, I know I did everything I could. For the most part, it's hey, they just didn't do their job, and it's not always on them. I'm the mindset of if we lose a game, it's probably something I did wrong or I didn't prepare them right. But also, if guys aren't making shots, but they don't ever come in to get extra shots in, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to be mad because guys don't want to work on their game. They will get the results that they earn. And that's kind of, my philosophy. Then I'll let Manny go here in a second, but as far as that, I've only had one time in my career. This is the end of our season, not this past year, but 2 years ago, we had a team that was pretty poised to go to the Final Four. We were 20-5 20-5 going into the districts and got upset by a team that we beat by 50 earlier in the year. That's probably a film. I didn't take the game serious enough. And I feel like I let the players down. And that's honestly the only time in my entire life where I was I felt that I didn't use my time right in terms of preparing my players. And it bogged me down for a while, but I've kind of got over it and moved on.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me has always been I learned at a young age. My first couple of years, it was all about winning, and then you learn as you go through that. Every coach says it. It's not all about wins and losses, and I think we're lucky at the high school level, and now for me at the middle school level even, where we're not probably getting fired over a couple of losses here or there, or in some cases you're at a school that never wins. You're not getting fired for losing high school basketball games most of the time. Guys that are getting fired are, they're not being professional. They're not, doing the right things for the kids, for the program. So I think you have to remind the kids all the time that we are using basketball as a tool because what is it? 1.5% of them are going to have a chance to play at the next level. So we're using this as a tool to get them ready for life. So are we truly doing that though? Or as coaches, do we just say that and then assume it's going to happen? I'm big on, okay, we lost, this is character building. This is learning, like Coach said. Are you putting your time in that you need to put in? How is this going to relate to your job? Did you come prepared today? If you don't come prepared to your job, you might not have a job. This is something we get to do. And I think we have to use it as a tool. And all I hear on the hundreds of Zoom calls I've done in quarantine is college coaches saying exactly that. Use this as a tool. For most people, this is not going to be a profession. We're lucky enough. I know Coach Britton and Kyle. We're lucky enough to have made coaching a profession, but most people aren't going to coach as a profession. We teach too. Most people aren't going to make millions of dollars. There's this small percentage of people, and most people are going to the NBA. So we have to use this as a tool, and the losses I think can be used as a tool even way more than the wins, because kids wake up to losses. They have more emotion to it. And the wins are short-lived. The losses, if they hurt right, then that's when you can start to teach life lessons for those players. And that's what I've always focused on, no matter what level I was coaching at.
Man, I like both.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely like that. Go ahead.
Let me touch on that too. Kind of what he's saying about learning from losses. Like, so I talked about the loss last season where, basically our season ended, going to the playoffs this year. Again, we're, a team we beat by 40. We lost to them literally at the buzzer on a Hail Mary, double clutch, double contested three in the district semifinals. And, I said before the game, like, hey, guys, like, the pressure's on those dudes. Like, if we lose, we're still in the playoffs, we're good. And we still end up losing. But after the game, guys were in tears. Like, I had one kid decide to quit. And it was just like, I said, guys, like, we're good. Like, we're gonna play next Tuesday. Like, it sucks. We didn't win a trophy, but like this, like winning the district was not our goal anyway. So, I was like all night. I didn't see much. Like, what do I do? How do I fix this to like get these guys back on track? Because we're gonna go on the road down in DeSoto in 5 days, and like we got to play 4 hours from home. So just kind of, I don't know if this is off topic, but this was something I thought was might help other coaches. I called in our top like 7 guys, like there are 5 starters and 2 of our bench guys. And I said, look, like, are you good? Yeah, I'm just kind of sad. I'm like, listen, I kind of recurred this equation. Like, when a lion is full and he already ate, what does he do? He just like sleeps, lays around, does nothing, right? But when a lion's hungry, he's like, he's out like prowling, looking for food, hunting. Like, he will not stop hunting until he's full. I said, that's us. Like, you guys were full. I was full. Like, we weren't in hunting mode. So, that was like, I think Tuesday, I gave them that day off. And the next day I said, all right, we got practice on Friday. And then, 2 teams were in our gym playing for just a championship. I said, all right, hey, listen, we got practice. We got to get back to work. So all the guys came into the locker room. I said, hey, we're going to go practice somewhere else. We can't use the gym today. And I took our entire team to a driving range for 2 hours. And it was probably like, honestly, the best thing, the most fun thing I've ever done with a basketball team or any group of guys in my entire life, because none of them could swing a golf club. And it was like if you ever like, hey, what do we do for team building? Like, go to a driving range. I mean, it was, the next day we had practice and it was like, we were great. So I think, like Manny was saying, just, finding moments to teach these kids how to get over losses, how to grow as people. I mean, that's been my whole thing is, like, winning basketball games is super easy. Like, it's high school basketball at the end of the day. Like, when I die, obviously I want to have a legacy and wins in this, but like, no one really cares at the end of the day. I mean, in 300 years, like, no one is going to know who I even am. Right.
Right.
So, it's about impacting these kids now where they impact their kids, or their players and then their grandkids. And that's really what I've gone to. And that's what frustrates me a lot about Florida is just like, like Manny's amazing what he does down there. And there's so many guys that just all they care about is winning, and they will do anything possible in recruiting and just being cutthroat to win games. And it's just become beyond frustrating for me. But, I know there's a lot more Manny's and guys like you, Robert, and that are in Florida and other areas. And I hope we overcome what's going on right now.
Right. I would tell you this, man. Like I said, I work for both of you guys, and I've actually taken a lot of what I do and I've implemented in my programs. I know, just the sheer grind of getting up early in the morning, having your kids in the gym. I learned that from Manny as a young, like you said, hungry coach, just trying to find more. Manny taught me that with 5-star basketball. He had me running station 13 at 6 a.m. in the morning, with him, and then Kyle, you taught me the importance of preparing to win. Like, Manny always helped me with my practice plans, but you helped me with my game plan. I didn't even know that was a thing, like to actually have a game plan card. So I got the game plan card from Kyle Gilreath. And I say that to say this: those things that you did rubbed off on me. Is there something that rubs off on young men and women that you interact with that you either want to rub off on them that they would take into their lives, or is it something that you've already seen? Like, give us an example.
I think the biggest thing for me is one related to basketball and kind of their education, and then the other is personal. So from a basketball side and that time management of learning how to get up early for practice and being ready and all that's going to rub off on them in life. If we hold them accountable for whatever the time is practice and, accountability for being ready, I give them a practice plan and they have to know the quote of the day, things like that is going to help them with their life. But then from a personal standpoint, I think some people are either crazy with social media and they use it for negative, or they don't use it because they're scared of it. I think as coaches now, I think we need to be very comfortable with social media. And I have my players on social media personally, not like just Gulliver basketball, but like personally, so that they can see the family man that I am, and they can get to know my kids and my wife and be very in tune with our family, because that's what I want them to grow up to be as young men. So like nothing's better for me. The last two Christmases, this last Christmas we went to Chicago and we stayed with one of my former players who's a professor at Loyola. And like I'm watching his little daughter grow up, and like he's on my birthday Zoom, like and with my parents, and we're hanging, and like he's part of the family, and it's just how it is. So like that's what I want them to see. And I have another one that lives on South Beach now. He's like, "Hey coach, I just got a new place. Come on up." Like that's what I want for my players and my personal relationship with them, because that's, I think, is going to rub off the most and impact their lives and mine as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for me, like our kind of, we've got different pillars and this and that. But I mean, for me, the one thing I want to teach our guys is just like love, serve, and care. So obviously the serve and care part is makes sense in terms of care for your teammates, care for people around you, serve everyone else. But I would say that for the love part, I mean, like I'll tell my players I love them all the time, and I really do. I mean, I love them to death. And I think, this year I was watching practice, and we're in a little different area, but like with our roster, I think we had this season, I think we had 3 players out of 12 or 13 that had biological mom and dad at home. So good or bad, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but a lot of young men grow up without like a father, or like their actual father or the actual mother, I think can be difficult. So I mean, I try to be that I guess role model from like, hey, when you get older and you have kids, like this is how you treat your wife, this is how you treat your kids. Like Manny said, I mean, I have my players over to my house every Christmas. My wife cooks them a big dinner, and they love it, and they hang out with my kids, and I try to bring my family around the gym as much as possible, just so the players see that I'm not just a basketball coach. Like I'm a husband, I'm a father. Like I'm trying to get you to be that role model when you become my age as well.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff, man. Well, man, this has been great dialogue, and we appreciate all you guys coming through and giving us your insight in these nuggets. What we like to do at the end of our episodes, we like to come to a huddle. Just like we do at our practice, we just huddle up, reflect on some of the things we've either talked about, or give some action to do next, like next steps, and we call it our C2A, or our call to action. And I'm going to actually let Caitlin start us off with the call to action, and then we'll go back and forth and just leave some people with some nuggets. Go ahead, Caitlin.
So what I want our listeners or viewers to do is to, one, find something that they want to do. Like if it's playing basketball and getting better at basketball, if it's a sport, or if it's studying for school, or playing an instrument. I want you to set aside a time, maybe an hour every day for the next 14 days, and create a plan for that hour, and then be intentional with fulfilling that plan.
Good stuff, Caitlin. Go ahead, Kyle. Take it away. Give us one.
For a call to action,
Mm-hmm.
man, I would say find a really good book. I've become really a lot avid reader during the pandemic, but find a book. I think that you can either listen to an Audible or read yourself. And I've kind of gone out of the reading just basketball books. I read like a Navy SEAL book the other day by I can't remember his name, but I would say just find a book that you can get into, and then if you enjoy it, like send it to someone else. That's what every book I finish now, I'll just put them on Twitter, like, hey, just finished this book, who wants it? And I just mail it to them. Like, I don't want any money. I'll pay the $8 for shipping. I think I'm trying to like grow like a mini free book club, but like, find a book you enjoy. If you're a player, encourage a teammate to, pick up a book as well. And just on top of that, as far as the teammate stuff, like just reach out to your teammates and your friends. And I think, right now a lot of kids are getting back together, but for so long they weren't. I think a short little FaceTime goes a long way.
Good stuff. Go ahead, Manny.
So I learned a little something. I have two. One was Tommy Amaker. I was on a Zoom with him about a month ago, and one of the things he talked a lot about is they do a thing called the Breakfast Club at Harvard, and it has nothing to do with basketball. It wasn't even started because of basketball. It really was started more to build community and get business people in the local community. But it really turned into something great for them. And what I took out of it is, because not everybody can start a breakfast club and bring in big business people, but I have always found it important to be tied into the community. And now here's harder because in Miami, we don't have a tight-knit community. It's a huge city. But I have my little Gulliver community, and then Coach has a small community in Titusville. Like, get to know maybe your bank branch managers in your smaller towns. Get to know your local restaurant owners. Maybe it's not a chain, maybe it's a local barbecue, and maybe invite them to events, whether it be games or having a meal with the team, and things like that. I think it was really cool to listen to his experience, and his is obviously a big time thing at Harvard, but it can be a small time thing, and it doesn't have to be elaborate. So from a standpoint of building community, I think that's important. And then the second thing that I really think is important, I've actually started reading myself. I think I read one book in my life before the pandemic, and now I've read 4 during the pandemic. So I'm on a streak right now. So I do believe, and it's not just about reading. I think find something every day. It doesn't have to be the same thing. Find something new to learn every day. Sometimes I'll hop on Google and just learn about something. Like I just did my Google Educator certification. No real reason. I mean, I know how to use all the stuff, but okay, I'm going to learn some more. I'm going to learn about something else. I'll talk to my wife. What's this thing you use for your class? I may never use it. I'm a PE teacher, and I'll learn something new. I got it in my pocket, if I need it, because maybe I can use it for private training virtually. Who knows? So learn something new every day, whether you spend 5 minutes or 5 hours, just a little piece, like a nugget, like Coach said. And I think that can help you just kind of grow your library.
Right, man. So my call to action is going to be something I actually learned on this call that I'm excited to reconnect and really throw out there. And talk about you avid readers, man. I've read 6 books in the midst of pandemic. So I'm going there. I have a really good Marine one called Extreme Ownership, Kyle, if you need it. And then, man, if you want a good one, I have one with health and nutrition called Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. So let me know if you need those. I'll throw those to you real quick. I want you to actually go and make the little graphic. Kyle, show it for me if you don't mind. The little graphic. The little square graphic with the squares, man. I love it. That is what we like to call a to-do list. So I want you guys to take Caitlin's idea of a 14-day challenge, but I want you to actually make a to-do list. And then I want you to do it and break it down even further. And like Manny said, I want you to take it and do it every day. So just something you might learn, something that you could check off. Hey, it might be talking to a friend, like Kyle said, on a FaceTime, or hey, it might be going to Google and just learning something new. Just try to use these little nuggets to build your library and to grow your mind. Because right now, in the midst of pandemic, the one thing that you can work on is yourself. We talked about controlling the uncontrollable. You can't control other people's actions. You can't control other people's time and respect of their time, but at the same time, you can control the respect of your time. So take your time, enjoy yourselves, use the list, keep listening to Area Code 459 podcast, because love is the frequency. And Caitlin,
1% better every day, guys.
that better every day. Kyle, Manny, thank you so much, man. We appreciate you guys. We love you. If you need anything, let us know.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.